Hi, welcome all to Dr. Anima Upadhyay's YouTube channel. And in today's video, we will learn about the lubricants part 2. It is the mechanisms of lubrication. So let's begin. The mechanisms of lubrication is an important topic of the lubricants because the same lubricant cannot be applied in all the machines. Some machines works continuously, carrying very little load, while the others, they work at high load and at high temperatures, or some starts moving from rest. So each requires different lubricant and different mechanism of lubrication is thus required. Now let's see what is lubrication. It's a process of applying a lubricant between two moving surfaces to avoid their direct contact and also to reduce the friction. It also reduces passive resistance. That means when the surfaces are in rest, they are not moving, they are stationary. So the topics that we have already discussed in my previous lecture on lubricants are listed here. If you want to learn about the definition, importance and significance of lubricants or the friction and its types or about the parts of the machinery, that is the surfaces of the machinery, please refer to that video. I will give the link in the description box. Let's start with the mechanisms of lubrication. There are three mechanisms: hydrodynamic or thick film or fluid film lubrication, boundary or thin film lubrication, and extreme pressure lubrication. So these are the three mechanisms of lubrication, and in this video we will study one by one each type of mechanism. The hydrodynamic, as the name suggests, it is made up of two words. Hydro means liquid and dynamic means in continuous motion. In such a machinery which is in continuous motion, a layer of hydrocarbon oils which is blended with long chain polymers is injected between the moving parts of the machinery. Thus, the lubricants used here are liquid which can withstand the temperatures of the machinery which are very low, and at such working temperature the liquid lubricant has a relatively low viscosity. The frictional forces in the moving machine parts are due to the internal resistive forces of the liquid lubricant and its thickness, that is the thickness of the liquid layer of the lubricant, and not due to the machine parts. The coefficient of friction in this type of lubrication is around 0.001 to 0.03. This type of lubrication prohibits direct contact of the parts of the machinery by injecting a liquid lubricant between the moving surfaces. Thus, the surfaces does not come in direct contact. The asperities, the peaks does not come in direct contact. Thus, the fluid film or the liquid film is employed only in machinery which are in continuous and rapid motion but with negligible load, and these are the delicate machineries. They work at low temperatures. Therefore, the liquid lubricant does not vaporize or decompose at such working temperatures of the machinery. So which machineries utilizes this type of mechanism? They are the sewing machines, clocks, the wrist watches, the scientific and medical instruments. All these, they may be working continuously, but they are carrying negligible load. Therefore, the liquid lubricant which is blended with long chain hydrocarbon oils will remain in its place without getting decomposed. Now let's see what are the requisites of hydrodynamic lubrication. First one, it should be blended with long chain polymers. and they act as excellent lubricants. Mixing of antioxidants in small amounts with the lubricants prevents corrosion and formation of gummy products in the machine, thereby preventing the corrosion of the machine parts. Here is the representation of hydrodynamic or the fluid film lubrication. The two surfaces are separated by the dotted lines, which is the layer of the liquid lubricant. The arrowheads shows the opposite direction of the motion of the surfaces of the machine parts. So, the dotted lines, that is the liquid lubricant, does not allow the machine surfaces to come in direct contact. These are the inferences which are drawn from the figure 1, that the surfaces are moving in opposite direction, and the asperities, that is the peaks which are present on each surface, does not come in contact with each other, because the lubricant layer which is applied between the two surfaces. The surfaces are completely separated, and this type of lubricant can last up to 36 months, and it also provides protection towards corrosion. As the machines are working with negligible load, so there is little or no rise in the temperature. Therefore, the liquid lubricant does not evaporate away or decompose. Coming to the second type of mechanism, that is boundary or the thin film lubrication. When the machineries are carrying heavy loads, or they are starting from rest, or they are running at a very low speed, in such type of machines, the liquid lubricant does not act as a lubricant, because the heat is generated, very high temperatures are reached due to the working of the machine, and at such high temperatures, the liquid lubricant either vaporizes away or it gets decomposed by getting thinner. Thus, they cannot be retained at its place. And here comes the need of a lubricant which could stick to the surfaces without getting decomposed. So, the liquid lubricant can no longer be used in the machineries where they are working at a very low speed. These types of machines require a lubricant that can get adsorbed on the surfaces by physical or chemical forces, forming thin films. And these thin films of lubricants separates the surfaces, thus preventing the metal to metal contact. Although the surfaces are too close, still they are separated by the thin adsorbed layer of the lubricant. And this type of lubrication is called boundary lubrication, because here the lubricant has been adsorbed by the surfaces, and the coefficient of friction in this type of mechanism is very low, between 0.05 to 0.15. In this lubrication, animal oils with high oiliness are used, but they tend to break down at elevated temperatures, that is at high temperatures at which the machine works. So, the oils are blended with mineral oils, that is the long chain hydrocarbon oils or fatty acids. Even the stable suspensions of molybdenum disulphide and graphite with oils or alone are also recommended for the boundary lubrication or thin film lubrication. Now let's see this figure to understand boundary lubrication. Here The adsorption of a thin film of oil on the surfaces of the machinery brings about separation of the surfaces. The arrowheads are showing the movement of the machine in opposite direction, and the load is carried by the adsorbed lubricants, which reacts with the metal, forming a thin film of soap. The requisites of boundary lubricants are, they should show good oiliness, so that they should get adsorbed. They should have polar groups to promote wetting. They should also possess high viscosity index, because the machines are working at a very high temperature. So these things are important. A high oiliness and a low pour point is extremely important. Also, it should show resistance towards heat and oxidation. It should be made up of long hydrocarbon chains, because long hydrocarbon chain will have a high molecular weight, therefore a high viscosity. They should have active functional groups, because the functional groups, they facilitate adsorption at the point of contact. And adsorption phenomenon I have already explained in one of my videos. I will give the link of the video on adsorption in the description box so that you will understand what is adsorption. The extreme pressure lubrication, that is the third type of mechanism, where the machine parts are subjected to very high pressures which are moving at a very high speed. This results in excessive heat generation due to friction. We have already read where there is negligible load, where there is high load, now it is extreme load. So, neither the thin film nor the thick film works under such extreme conditions, as the liquid lubricant will either evaporate or it will get decomposed. Therefore, a different type of mechanism is required under extreme pressure conditions. So, for effective lubrication, special additives which are called extreme pressure additives, they are employed. And these lubricants, that is the extreme pressure lubricants, are capable of forming durable films between the surfaces. They neither break nor do they vaporize at extreme conditions at which the machine works. The additives employed are organic compounds with active groups such as chlorine in chlorine esters, sulphur in sulphurized oils, phosphates in tricresyl phosphates. So these are the additives which are employed as active groups. These active compounds, they form stable chemical bonds with the metal surfaces of the machinery. All the machines have metal surfaces, and these solid films which are formed on the surfaces has a low shear strength. Therefore, it protects the underlying metal and suffices the purpose of protecting the metal surfaces of the machinery. The active groups forms metal chlorides or sulphides or phosphides with the machine surface. These lubricants are retained at such extreme conditions. They do not vaporize away, they do not decompose, but they remain as solid films on the surfaces. These films can withstand high temperatures, high loads, the melting point of iron chloride and iron sulphide is around 600 to 1100 degrees centigrade. Therefore, it is able to protect the machinery without itself getting decomposed. If these gets broken, somehow they get broken, then they can be replaced easily. Thus, it provides good lubrication under extreme conditions of temperature and pressure. And this is the reason the mechanisms of lubrication are extremely important to study. Now let's see what are the examples of extreme pressure lubrication. The metal chlorides such as iron chloride, the metal sulphides such as iron sulphide, the metal phosphides such as tricresyl phosphate. These lubricants are used in extreme pressure lubricants as they can withstand high temperatures and high pressure. Now let us see the significance of lubrication as a whole. So the lubrication or the lubricants, when applied, they reduce wear and tear of the machine parts, they act as coolants, they act as seal, and they prevent the leakage. As coolants, they do not allow the rise in temperature. They prevents the machine from corrosion, from abrasion, from damage. They increases the lifespan of the machinery. When there is very little wear and tear, there is no corrosion, there is no damage, the lifespan of the machine will automatically increase. They also increases the efficiency of the machine by easing the motion. They smoothens the motion. Now, in the upcoming videos on lubricants, we will study about the properties of lubricants. Some of the important properties are listed below, such as flash and fire point, cloud and pour point, aniline point, viscosity, acid number, and iodine value. Thanks for watching this video till end. Please like and share this video among your friends and also subscribe to my channel, Dr. Anima Upadhyay. Thanks a lot. Take care of yourself and keep watching. Bye-bye.